Hi, I'm James.
And I'm Becca.
We know why you're here. It's that time of year again, course choice.
And by the chances you're watching this, you'll be a senior pupil at Bertha Park High School who is unsure on the course choice.
Or you're a parent or guardian who's not sure what subject will best suit their child.
But look no further than social subjects.
This department is comprised of 4 subjects: History, Geography, Modern Studies and RMPS. Now going into this video, you're probably wondering why someone would want to pick social subjects. An excellent question, and who better to answer that question than Mrs. Haggart?
Why choose social subjects? We want you to take multiple social subjects because you are interested in the content we do, you enjoy them, and you can see the relevance of them to the world around you today. If you are interested in how major conflicts of the past have happened, how people coped with that, or how people dealt with similar issues that we are facing today, then you'd be looking to take history. If you're interested in why the world is the way it is today, you need to know your history. Those who forget the mistakes of the past are condemned to repeat them. If you are interested in political systems around the world and how they work and what benefits they give to people, what the differences are, and you want to understand the impact today around the world of different political systems, then modern studies is the subject for you. If you are interested in a wide range of stunning landscapes across the world, investigating how they were formed and changed and considering how people interact with these landscapes, then you might be interested in geography. Or if you are interested in religious traditions and festivals and what they mean and how they came about, or if you are interested in answering the big moral questions and dilemmas of the day, then RMPS might be your route. But remember, we want you to be coming back to more than one of these. We really hope that you enjoy what we do in social subjects and the way that we present the information to you in an interactive and engaging learning environment. And here you can see some examples of how we present your work to you. We also hope you see the relevance of what we're doing. So for example, why do we have a conflict in Israel and Palestine? Where did that come from? How did it start? Why do we have the climate of the world changing and have big forest fires across the world as well? Why do we have the conflict in between Russia and Ukraine, and how did that start and how may it be solved? And why do we have big religious festivals? What's the meaning behind these? So if you are interested in the topics we do, if you enjoy them, if you can see the relevance, then we want you back in the department taking one, but preferably more than one social subject.
Now you have a better idea of why you should choose social subjects.
But what do you learn in each subject?
Well, let's hear from each subject specialist.
Hi, I am Mrs. Haggart. I am PT Social Subjects at Bertha Park, but my speciality is history. So I am here to tell you about what the history courses look like in senior phase. If you choose to do history in 4th year, you will do 3 units in a national class. So whether you're national 3, 4 or 5, you will do the same topics. We look at a Scottish topic, which is the era of the Great War from the Scottish perspective. We do our British topic, the Atlantic slave trade, and we do our European in the world topic, which is Hitler and Nazi Germany. In amongst this, you have 3 knowledge type questions you need to be able to do: describe, explain, and a short essay, and 3 source questions as well. If you're coming into the national class, we will not decide right away what level you're at, so you've got all year to work hard, and then we can make a decision about the best progression pathway for you. So you might come in at Nat 4, but by the end of the year, we think you're National 5. You might start at National 5, and then we think maybe National 4 is the best route for you. But you've got plenty of time to work on your skills and achieve the best you possibly can.
Hi, I'm Miss Black and I'm your geography teacher. If you choose to continue with geography into S4, there are 3 different levels that you can study at, so National 3, National 4 and National 5. No matter what level you study at, you're going to cover the same 3 big topics that we always cover in geography. These are physical environments, human environments and global issues. In the physical environments part of geography, we will start by looking at glaciation, so the thing that changed our landscapes here in Scotland and is continuing to change landscapes around the world. We'll look at coastal environments and how they are changing over time, and finally we will consider weather and why it changes on a day-to-day basis. Then we'll consider our human environment, so we look at population here, urban and rural, and the big theme here is change and why is it happening. Finally, we look at global issues, and this is the part where we think about our physical environment and people and we mash them together. So for these 2 topics, we generally look at climate change and we also look at environmental hazards, so tropical storms, earthquakes and volcanoes. In both of these big topics, we need to know why is that thing happening, so why does the planet do what it does, but then how do people respond to it and how can we make that response even better. Additionally, with these topics, you're also going to look at your folio in National 5 and also at National 4 level. And this is really your opportunity to pick a topic that really means something to you and to do a bit of a deep dive into it, to really become the expert and do some research. When you do this, you're definitely going to become really data literate, so you're going to have to find lots of numbers to do with your topic. You're going to have to produce this on graphs. You're going to have to describe and explain why that matters to your reader, which is your core skill as a geographer, making other people care about big world themes.
I'm Mr. McRobert. I am the Modern Studies teacher here at Bertha Park. If you choose to take National 5 Modern Studies, there are 3 main units that we cover. The first unit is Democracy in Scotland, in which we talk about how politics works in the country. The second unit is social issues, where we look at crime and the law and we look at the story of crime. Why does crime happen? What's the impact of crime and what's done to solve crime? Then third, we look at the USA as a country study. We look at social issues and economic issues that people suffer from in America. We then also look at why it's a powerful country and also the political system of America. So that's your National 5 units that you complete. The fourth part of it is an assignment where you can choose any modern topic that you want to learn about and you can spend time researching that with your iPads and then writing up an assignment at the end.
Hello, my name is Mr. Cregan and I am the Religious, Moral, Philosophical Studies teacher here at Bertha Park. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the progression from S3 all the way up to Advanced Higher. Okay, so from S3 going into S4, you've got 3 levels that you could be starting off at. You could be going in at National 3, National 4 or National 5, okay? Now, National 3 and National 4 are similar in the sense that you will be assessed with units along the way. The big difference with National 5 is you've got the exam in May as well. So if you're going in at National 5 level, then you'll be sitting an exam at the end of the year, okay? Now, for those 3 levels, we have the same units. So the units that we have cover a religious, moral and philosophical topic. So our first religious unit focuses on Buddhism. In this unit, what we focus on are the traditions and history of Buddhism, along with the practices that they commit to in the modern world as well. So it's a full investigation of the origins of Buddhism all the way up to how it is in the 21st century. In Morality and Conflict, we look at the morality around how wars are fought and why wars are fought as well. So we'll investigate all the reasons for why and how wars are fought, and we'll get into all the religious and non-religious perspectives on those views as well. So it's a full investigation into war and everything that comes along with it. The final unit is our philosophical unit, which is called Origins. Here we look at the debate between how the universe started and how life on Earth started. And the debate that we focus on, or the 2 sides that we look at, are the scientific arguments and the religious arguments. In this case, Christianity is the religion that we focus on. Along with that, we also look at the arguments in the middle, where people try to find some sort of compatibility between religion and science as well. So those are the 3 units that you'd be doing at National 3, National 4 and National 5.
If you're coming back to do higher for history, we require a C at National 5 for you to be able to do that. Otherwise, you would just really struggle. If you get a D at National 5 in history, we recommend you either go and do another social subject if you've not done more than one, or come back and redo your National 5 and upgrade, and then you can do higher in 6th year. At higher, we have an essay paper and we have a source paper. Our source paper is our Scottish topic. We look at migration and empire, and we build on the skills from National 5. For your essay paper, we do a British topic, and our European and the World topic is the USA.
If you then continue to study geography into S5 or potentially S6, depending on when you pick us up, higher would be your next step after National 5, and in higher we stick to those 3 big core themes, but we definitely do a considerable amount more detail, and those people that are really keen geographers really enjoy that extra bit of detail. So in our physical environments at higher, we are going to look at 4 different parts of our planet. We start at the bottom and we look at our soils and how they influence life. Then we look up to our hydrosphere. So here in Perth, we live on the River Tay. We really need to understand the hydrological system. Then we look at our lithosphere. So from National 5 or 4, we'll have looked at glaciation, and we'll also have looked at coasts. We do a bit more detail in these environments and see how are they changing today and how do they impact our lives. Then we are going to have a look at our atmosphere. So it literally wraps up our planet in a lovely protective bubble. We need to know how it works and how it affects our lives around the world. In our physical topics, that's everything that we will do. But in human topics, we will cover population, urban and rural. They sound exactly the same as at National 5, but they really treat National 5 knowledge as a building block to the next step in higher. So in higher, you'll begin to think a bit more critically about population change. Why is it happening? Why are we able to or not able to see those changes in certain countries around the world? For rural and for urban, we will also think about what are the changes happening around our planet, and are they the correct changes? What can we do about them, and who do they affect? Finally, for the global issues section, we will look at 3 topics. One is geoskills, so you get to be a real geographer here. Kind of like a town planner, you get to be given an example of something that's going to be a new development, lots of sources of information about it, and you have to make a judgment about whether that's the right thing or not for that area and the impact that it will have. The 2 big topics that we will cover in our global part are health and development, and we will also look at climate change. So climate change we've covered in National 5, but again in higher it's a much deeper dive and really bringing your knowledge up to speed to make sure that you can really understand this in our current world. Finally, for our health topic, we look at malaria, so a really interesting disease that gladly does not affect us but does affect millions of people around the globe. We look at what causes it, the impacts of it, and how we can fix it, and whether those solutions actually work and are appropriate for a real world today. Hopefully I've given you a bit of a flavour as to the different topics in higher geography, and you understand that actually you'll be able to really become an expert in some of these topics. I think that's the bit that really sells higher. Finally, we will also have a folio, so this time instead of gathering data in the classroom, we'll actually take you out on a whole day trip to a different city where we gather lots of different data, and you again become the expert in that city and are able to show your understanding of a topic in Dundee. Hopefully that gives you a great understanding of higher.
If you have done well in National 5 and it's something that you're interested in taking it higher, then I would expect that you would have got an A, a B or a C at National 5 to then take that to higher. With higher, the way that it works is it's again 3 units. So the first unit is democracy in the UK, and that's a more broad look at democracy in the UK as far as the independence debate and the work of Parliament down in London. Unit 2, there's 2 options. It depends on what the class would like to do. The first one is looking at social inequality. That would be economic, wealth and health inequality, but we might also look at crime and the law. So we'll look at the story of crime again in more depth at higher. Third thing that we'll look at is underdevelopment in Africa as our 3rd unit. Once again, your 4th unit would be looking at something of your choosing, and with this assignment you would play the role of a government advisor who has looked at a social issue or a political issue or an international issue, and you would be suggesting what the best plans would be to deal with that. So looking at maybe 3 different solutions, what will those solutions be, and you would do that.
Let's take a look towards higher. So firstly, in order to sit higher, a pupil must achieve either A, B or C at National 5 in order to qualify. However, there might be room as well for pupils to take it as a crash higher if they've done well in other social subjects such as history, modern studies or geography. So, the units at higher follow the exact same structure at National 5. where you have a religious, moral and philosophical unit. Now, currently at Bertha Park, the units between National 5 and higher are going to be very similar. For example, the religious topic that we will look at will still be Buddhism. The difference between National 5 and higher is the level of detail required in the answer. Reason for this being as well, because Buddhism can be quite a tricky topic, it's going to benefit the pupils to sit National 5 and higher to sort of reinforce their knowledge and improve the quality of their answers by the time they get to higher. Along with that, we also still do the Origins unit as well. Again, there's a lot of information, a lot of detail in the Origins unit, so what changes at higher is the level of detail required in the answers as well. So the difference in the units is the moral unit. At higher, the unit that we do is called Morality and Justice. In this unit, pupils will focus on all the different moral problems around crime and punishment, and particularly the death penalty as well. So these are the sort of topics that we'll focus on, along with the morality around those. And just like the same structure as the war unit at National 5, we will look at religious and non-religious perspectives into those issues surrounding justice on top of that. At higher as well, there is an exam in May, and along with that, there is an assignment. And again, the difference with the assignment is it's worth 10 more marks at higher.
If you are coming to history to do advanced higher, we focus on one topic only because we're doing it more in depth, and we are focusing on Russia from the time of the Tsar until the Second World War. So we look at Lenin, we look at Stalin in that. Advanced higher, 2 essays, 3 source questions, building on the skills from higher, but you will need a C at higher to be able to come into advanced higher.
Advanced higher does keep our same topics, so it does keep physical, human and global. However, it brings in so many more big skills that you might need for further study or just for doing well in any career path. We are going to look at how we gather data and really take a critical stance about how do we gather that data, is it the correct way to do it, what are the pros and cons. Then once we've gathered data, we need to think about how do we produce that in a way that everybody can understand. So that might be maps, it might be graphs, it might be the use of statistics and a little bit of maths there. Don't worry if it's not your strong suit, it's definitely something I can help you with. Finally, advanced higher, I think probably the biggest part that people really enjoy is the ability to do 2 really big projects. So there's the study and there's the issue. Generally the study is worth more marks, and people are generally going outside to find a physical environment that they're really interested in. Common ones recently have been rivers and beaches, and people really investigate that environment and think, why is it changing the way that it is? Does it fit all of my knowledge from National 5 and higher? Then in the issue, it's the chance to kind of pick something going on a more global scale. So just last year we had somebody investigating the release of potentially nuclear waste into Japan's seas and the impact on global ecosystems. So there really is scope here to pick something really quite controversial and to become the expert and explain why you think it should or shouldn't happen in future. Advanced higher really is the epitome of geography, and our students that study it this year, we've got 8, really enjoy it, and I'm hoping that lots of you might reach these heights as well and really see why it's such an incredible topic to study. Hopefully I've given you a flavour of all of the different levels you can do geography at, and I will see you soon. Thank you.
The final option for modern studies is advanced higher. Advanced higher, we would expect that you've got an A or a B at higher, and that is an in-depth look at criminology. The criminology that you do at college is 5th and 6th level, National 5 and higher. We would look at 7th level. So that advanced higher is a much more in-depth first year university level look at crime, and you have a dissertation which you would then use, which makes up a large percentage of your final advanced higher grade.
Now that we've looked at higher and National 5, let's have a talk about advanced higher as well. So advanced higher and RMPS has not started yet. Due to sort of where RMPS is in terms of being implemented into the school, so currently I've not got too much detail in terms of what's going to be getting taught or what's going to be happening. All I can promise you just now is there will be advanced higher in the future, and the progression to get into that is either to get an A, B or C at higher. And as I've said, currently we've got there's very few details I can actually share about the advanced higher because it's in the very early stages of development, but soon enough the topics will be finalised. Thank you for taking the time to listen, and hopefully you come on the journey through National 5 and higher RMPS. Thank you.
So you've heard from each teacher, clearly lots of interesting subjects.
Still unconvinced? Let's see the reviews. What do the pupils think?
What social subjects do you take?
So last year I took higher modern studies, and this year I'm taking higher history.
Okay, why did you pick to do them?
So the reason that I chose modern studies and history in particular is because they give me different perspectives on the world. So obviously history gives you the sort of answers as to why things are the way that they are today. And modern studies gives you the sort of foundational basis of how things are now. So the two subjects taken together, you can sort of see how everything has transitioned over a long period of time, and that greatly informs how I perceive and think about different situations, given how things are today, from how they hence came from history.
So, Becca, why did you take history?
Well, Miss Haggart, the teacher, has a very unique teaching style, and I just find it easy to concentrate in the class.
Why did you take RMPS?
I thought it would be interesting to take, which, I mean, I was right. It's very interesting.
What have you learned so far through them?
So it's not so much, whilst the content of each subject is incredibly important, the real learning aspect of history and modern studies comes from debating and political discussion and talking and really socializing with other people. Because it's all about perspective, it's understanding where other people's interpretations of the same material has come from and how that's really important in a society where everyone has the entitlement to different opinions and the ability to interact with each other effectively about them, and to be able to discuss an essay write are two very important things which I have learned through both subjects.
So, James, why did you take modern studies?
Well, politics kind of interests me, and Miss McRoberts sold it off to me, so I was like, yeah, why not? Let's give it a go. And I've really enjoyed it. So.
Ellie. And what level of geography are you taking? Advanced higher. And why do you like geography? I like how I'm able to bring together the other subjects that I take, like maths and the sciences, and I'm able to use them all at the same time and how they connect with each other. I also like the opportunities that we had to go on different trips, like Dundee, and seeing how the inner city and CBD and everything works.
So what have you learned in social subjects?
I have learned to not take everything at face value, so I can look at a source now and pick out the key information and not believe everything that is said. I also have learned to look at other perspectives to see within conflicts around the world why they did what they did and why they thought that was okay.
So what social subjects did you take?
I took higher geography and higher history.
And what have you learned in these subjects?
Well, in history, I learned a lot of essay skills, because before I took history, I used to be quite bad at essays, but after taking it, and the whole thing with higher history is basically just writing essays. So the fact that it's just that helps me to increase my skills in that a lot. And for geography, it's just writing and trying to get to the point as quickly as possible. That's quite something I've learned quite well in geography.
Fantastic. And what have you enjoyed about these subjects?
What have I enjoyed? Well, obviously the teachers are some of the best parts. Miss Haggart and Miss Blacker, some of my personal favourites.
Mm-hmm.
And just the course material in general is stuff I enjoy learning, so it's fun to just come into class and enjoy what you're learning, instead of having to come into class and be like, oh, we're doing this.
What's your name? Freya Kelly. And what level of geography are you taking? Advanced higher. What do you like about it? I like geography. My favourite thing about geography is human geography, because I like to learn about the impact of geography on people and how that impacts them and the society that they live in.
Nice.
I also like how geography connects all the subjects that I've done in the past. So the stuff that I've learned in geography was relevant to what I did in higher modern studies last year, and that helped me be able to learn in more depth about both of them, because I had a background understanding as well. And then also the skills that I've learned at advanced higher level, I've been able to apply to my work in higher psychology and other subjects, like specifically statistics.
What do you specifically enjoy about them?
So I especially enjoy the teachers across the whole social subjects department. Every staff member is always happy, always eager to chat about their subject, and always ready to help you at their most, which creates a really positive learning environment, which I find really attractive in my learning. As well as the content, both social subjects that I have taken, including geography in S2 and S3, across the whole board, has really been really quite engaging. It's made you think and interpret information in your own way, which is what I really enjoy.
So there you have it, interesting subject and glowing reviews.
Now it's up to you to take the leap into social subjects.